Okay, so I think I'm going to title this video something along the lines of the human body hierarchy of nutrition. Okay, something like that. My goal here is to kind of spell out why we've structured the challenge in this way, why we're layering in, started with the meat, going through, adding things into it, and to give you a better understanding of it's not just, hey, we created um, some rules to follow to be disciplined in our eating. Yes, that's a piece of it. But we're also layering these in a pretty specific way. Okay. We're layering them in a hierarchy. I'm so scared of not recording myself that I'm going to check to make sure that this camera's rolling. All right. We're safe. It is. You guys already knew that. We are layering things in very intentionally. It is in a way that is also supposed to teach you something about what foods are important for your body, what to eat the most of, and by the end, what to eat the least of. And during that time, you're also physically going to be responding. Your body's going to be responding to the way that we are, the way that we're kind of dosing things in. Things are going to happen. Okay, so week one, meat only. We do that because essentially it is like the ultimate elimination diet, right? Eating only meat, your body. Well, so we started with the fast, but through the first week, it's kind of like fasting with calories. Your body is in this state where there's zero carbohydrate coming in. And what you're getting is this super nutrient dense food from nature. Meat is, I would argue, the most nutrient dense food God has presented us with, especially when you look at organ meats. And so that's our starting place, and that's what we want to be the base and the foundation of our diet as we are adding things in here. Okay. With zero carbohydrate, your body is in this ketogenic, right, fat burning state, right? So it is a ketogenic diet, right? A carnivore diet, a meat only diet is a ketogenic diet. Okay, so now it's like a square is a rectangle, not a square. Okay. These first 3 weeks are all intended to be a ketogenic diet. Week one is intended to be, the carnivore diet, the meat only diet. There's even different ways to do a carnivore diet. There's other animal foods we didn't eat on week one. That's more the discipline side of things. But this week, we're staying pretty much, for the most part, zero carb, right? The next category of foods that provide us, that God presents the highest concentrations of fat in, paired with what we know through the book of nature, as Alex has been saying a lot the past couple of days, our ability to make oil out of avocados and coconut and olives, right? These are foods that it's very clear that, hey, these are meant to be good fat sources for the human being. So that's kind of our next stage. We're still in this kind of the first half of this diet is a truly a ketogenic diet. And we're kind of layering in the different pieces of the ketogenic diet. Categorically, the fatty fruits, they sustain a lot of what we were doing in week one, and we start to branch out into other ways to balance that out through macronutrients, adding a little more variety, as well as, hey, we've mentioned this, very few people have problems eating meat as far as allergies or certain sensitivities or reactions, right? Especially to really well-raised beef. We haven't really gotten into qualities of meats, although that's another good video idea. But as we layer in here, there's also, some potential problems, right? So way down in week 6, there's going to be lots of foods that, like, I don't know that I will have much of anything that I'm adding to my diet through in week number 6, because it's like, those foods do not work. My body rejects those foods, right? My body has adverse reactions to almost all of those foods. And so that's a little bit of the hierarchy. Not only do we not need as much of them, they're also potentially problematic, right? So even thinking about week 3 versus week 2, right, versus week 1, week 3, we're going to be doing essentially what we would consider like kind of an all-out ketogenic diet, right? And yes, vegetables are going to be a piece of that, right? But like we mentioned, whatever day it was, there's certain things that just don't quite, fit into these tidy little boxes and categories that we created, right? So instead of, and that's our whole intent anyway. Yes, we're making a hierarchy, but we speak in generalities because generalities are generally true, right? They're not 100% true, and there's caveats, right? There's things that make sense outside of the generality, right? Liberals are wrong about most things, but guess what? They make really good coffee, okay? Generalities are helpful, and there are certainly exceptions. So we said, as we progress through this, right, there's going to be not only things that are kind of inside the categories we've laid out that don't actually fit thematically with what we're doing, but there's also things outside of these categories that we've created that do fit into what we're doing during that given week. So I don't know that there's necessarily going to be these caveats every single week. I guess now that I'm thinking about it, we've got a few coming these next couple of weeks. But as of today, we're going to open some things up. So this is a macadamia nut. This is a Brazil nut. This is a pecan. This is a walnut. This is a lemon. This is a lime. This is apple cider vinegar. These foods fit thematically with what we are doing this week in this nearly zero carb, right? Very, very low carb, no vegetable yet diet, right? So it's continuing most of the just the metabolic processes that were started out in week 1 with the carnivore diet, supports them now through high-fat plant foods, okay? Categorically, the fatty fruits kind of fit that bill. But also, we have some tree nuts that they basically have a really similar macronutrient profile to coconuts, right? So not all tree nuts fit in this category. Almonds, cashews, they have a lower fat content, higher carbohydrate content, and really don't quite fit this bill. But this macadamia right here, let's read the bag together. You can get these at Costco, by the way. So 21 grams of fat, 4 carbohydrate, 2 of which is fiber. So that's honestly, even from a fat supplement to your animal-based protein diet, It's honestly even better macronutrient wise than some of the fatty fruits that we have been eating. The reason why it's not just automatically in that spot is because, hey, tree nuts, I mean, surely you know this. A lot of people are allergic to tree nuts. A lot of people have issues with tree nuts. They have a lot of those anti-nutrients that, you know, are potential problems for people. Harder to digest than meat, right? Harder to digest than avocados and, you know, the fatty fruits. But hey, if you can tolerate them, they're a great thing. I'm honestly not even sure if I can tolerate these super well. We're going to see how my gut and immune system reacts to this stuff. Then this other kind of category of stuff here I've got is we have 3 very acidic foods, drinks. You're probably not going to eat these. Liquids, that's the word I was looking for. So yes, lemons and limes are fruits, but in the sense of high sugar, high carbohydrate fruits, they are not, okay? Paired with apple cider vinegar, this kind of acidic profile from a culinary perspective pairs super well with the super fatty profile that we've been doing. So, and they are not foods or liquids that are going to interrupt or interfere with the integrity of what we're doing. So we're going to say, hey, enjoy some lemon or lime or apple cider vinegar in your water. The apple cider vinegar also has a little bit of benefit of helping with blood sugar regulation. So if you're one of the guys who, hey, is kind of doing this for weight loss, getting insulin under control, getting blood sugar under control, that can be kind of a helpful thing for that. You could squeeze some acidic juices on some of your meats, right? Some lemon on your salmon. That's like a go-to, right? Yeah, just opening this up a little bit, staying thematically in this lane, but showing you, hey, there are a handful of other foods such as these that really do fit and kind of keep us right where we're at and kind of keep us on track there. One more thing. A totally separate thing you can do with all these new nuts is grind them to a bloody pulp and create a little nut butter. That is pretty awesome. Okay. Cheers, boys.